16-year-old girl named Brandy. She went to her local healthcare provider and was told that she was HIV positive. In the early 80s and 90s, this was considered a death sentence. They asked her if she had a ride home or if someone could pick her up, and she said no. They made her take a taxi home because people in this situation were more likely to commit suicide. Today I'll be informing you about HIV cure research. 37 million people globally are living with HIV today, and over 32 million people have died from AIDS-related illnesses. According to the CDC, $380,000 is the cost of treatment for HIV for a lifetime. So today I'm going to be discussing what exactly HIV is, the early beginning stages of research, and what is currently going on today. So first I'll be talking about what exactly is HIV. Stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, which attacks your CD4 T cells, which help fight infection and help with your immune system. So if left untreated, this can turn into AIDS, which is terminal. And when you have HIV, it can leave you more vulnerable to different diseases, illnesses, and infections because it's suppressing your immune system, which helps you fight those. So there are a few ways that it can be transmitted, and it can be transmitted through 5 bodily fluids, which are anal fluids, vaginal fluids, semen, blood, and breast milk. So a few ways that this can be transmitted is, one is through unprotected sex, another is through sharing needles, and mothers can also pass it to their babies during pregnancy, through birth, and through breast milk. So the beginnings of HIV research. HIV is very prone to mutations, so when they first would give you a drug, the HIV would mutate into a drug-resistant form, and that drug would stop working. And so they'd have to put you on a new drug, but then it would just adapt and mutate, and it would stop working for that drug as well. So one of the early medications that they had prior to 1996 was AZT, and they found that it temporarily suppressed HIV, and it delayed early onset of AIDS. But they also found that it was only prolonging life by about a year, so it wasn't as effective as they would have liked, although it did help. One that they did come up with in 1996 was called HAART, or HAART, and that stood for Highly Active Antiretroviral Therapy. And what that is a combination of 3 different types of drugs, or 3 different types of antiretrovirals. And this actually broke a record for being the fastest approved by the FDA, and it was approved in 6 months, which is super fast. And that was really important for HIV at the time because it was a lot more effective than AZT. So where the research currently is today, today we have PrEP. So PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is intended for HIV negative people who may be at a higher risk to being exposed to people that are HIV positive. And so this is something that you would do before so that you don't end up with HIV. Another thing that we have is called PEP, and it's post-exposure prophylaxis. And this is if you think that you came into contact with someone who is HIV positive through the bodily fluids. So if you have a possible exposure, this is something that you would take after within the first 72 hours, so 3 days. And it's important that you take it within that time frame, because every hour counts. And this is to prevent you from contracting HIV. Something else is called the viral load, and this reduces the amount of HIV in your blood to a very low level. And so that's your viral load, is the HIV in your blood. And viral suppression, which entails less than 200 copies of HIV per milliliter of blood. So that is your viral load, and that is viral suppression. And most people can get their HIV status controlled within 6 months with today's medications and treatments. So nobody really, as long as they're taking the medications, they can get it under control in 6 months and not contract AIDS. And so what this does is your HIV doesn't show up in lab tests, which makes your viral load undetectable. So although HIV will be in your blood forever, the goal is to get it to be undetectable, and that helps you to not pass it on to others. So today I've talked about what exactly HIV is, the early medications and progress of HIV, and what is going on today with HIV and the drugs that we do have available. So only a few decades ago, this illness was considered a death sentence. Now HIV is considered chronic yet manageable. Due to incredible medical advancements, this has made the new generation, they have been given hope and can live a long and happy and fulfilling life. Thank you.